Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Tower of God New World. In today's video, we are going to check out the new revolution buffs for VIOLE, Flight Yorick Mazino, and Gusting. So these three characters pretty much received a buff, and these buffs are looking really good. So before I talk about these revolution buffs, I want to give a quick shout out to another content creator that you guys don't know about, and that content creator's name is Sabletooth. He's the one who pretty much set me up with these footages for Flight Yorick Mazino, and another Discord member in my Discord server also gave me some clips as well for a VIOLE. So huge shout out to Sabletooth. I'm going to go ahead and put his channel link in the comment section down below so that you guys can go subscribe to his channel, and make sure that you guys do that for me. I would really appreciate it. But let's not waste any time, and let's go ahead and hop right into the video. So the first unit we're going to go over is VIOLE. Unfortunately, my VIOLE isn't invested. He's at 3 green stars. But, thanks to some people in the community, I was able to pretty much see VIOLE's performance with this new buff. So when we look at his revolution, we come over here to limit break, revolution. So previously, I'm going to show you guys the previous version of his revolution before he received the buff right here. And right now, so for revolution tier 4, I'm going to read the before first and then read the after. So for the before, it said VIOLE's blue ore skill is enhanced. When VIOLE is hit by a melee attack, the skill activates to remove status effects and additionally recover HP equal to 40% of max HP. So before he received the revolution buff, he only got HP recovery and he was able to remove status effects from revolution tier 4. Now for the revolution buff, it says VIOLE's blue ore skill is enhanced. When the skill activates, it removes status effects and restores an additional 40% of his max HP. So he still has, the original revolution tier 4. But there's an addition. It says, come down over here. It says, VIOLE's basic attack gains 2 additional projectiles. His attack speed is increased by 5, and his basic attack pierce is increased by 6% each time his basic attack hits max 20 stacks. So he's pretty much receiving, like when we look at the stacks right here, he's pretty much receiving 100 attack speed, and he's receiving 200 basic attack pierce. That's crazy. So I'm pretty sure for the basic attack pierce, I think it's 120%. My apologies, 120%. Anyways, it's 120% basic attack pierce increase in total. So this revolution tier 4 is absolutely crazy. If you have your VIOLE at, like, let's say 4 orange stars, I feel like revolution tier 4 is really good for him because he has a huge damage boost thanks to the basic attack pierce and attack speed increase. Plus he has the additional projectiles, which is very good. Now for his revolution tier 5. So before, it said, while Thorn is active, the explosion range of Black Hole Sphere doubles. And then now it says, while Thorn is active, the explosion radius of Black Hole Sphere is doubled and it is immediately cast again. So pretty much, increasing the radius of Black Hole Sphere, and he's able to cast it once again to pretty much allow him to do, a lot more damage. So overall, I feel like the best part about the revolution buff is the tier 4. I feel like the tier 4 is just absolutely crazy, and it makes him a lot stronger because of, the basic attack pierce increase and the attack speed increase. It's just completely crazy. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the clips for VIOLE, his performance with the revolution buff, and you guys are going to see how insane this unit is now. Now, I also got the opportunity to experience Viole's brand new buff thanks to the friend system. So this was one of my attempts in adventure mode. You guys can see this 339 billion damage coming from Viole. This is crazy. And I'm not even using like the right team for him. Like I have Vargarv and Reflejo. You know, like I'm literally using characters that are not even perfectly synergized with him, but he still did very, very well. And I'm going to go ahead and replay this for you guys. And imagine pairing up Albelda with Viole with the Revolution buff. This unit is just going to be crazy. So, you know, right off the bat, if you guys are wondering, is Viole now worth the investment? Yes, he is worth the investment. For all the Viole simps, congratulations. Your unit is great again. So he's just crazy. Like, just look at this right here. Look at how much damage he deals. And what's also really, really good is the fact that when he uses his ultimate, he's pretty much invincible because of this shield right here. So he receives like no damage at all. But just look at this. Absolutely crazy. Like he couldn't do this before. Like his performance was still pretty good without Belda, but the Revolution buff made him 10 times more crazier. So overall, they definitely went hard for Viole's Revolution buff. Like I feel like he benefited the most from this Revolution buff, and he is definitely, no, I'll say he's definitely an S plus tier unit for sure, because for the tier list, I'm pretty sure for the Pride 1 tier list, he's been in S tier for a long time, which is understandable. But now, I feel like he's definitely in that S plus tier for sure, because his damage is just crazy. His damage is really, really good. And pairing that up with Albelda so that he can receive that additional attack. Dude, like Viole, he's back. He's back. And I'm definitely going to invest in this unit in the future for sure when I have the opportunity to do so. So, in conclusion, Viole, worth the investment. If you're thinking about summoning for Viole, if you want to invest in this unit, don't even think twice. He's wonderful. He's amazing. This Revolution buff is very, very good. But for free-to-play players, if you are trying to use a low invested, like if you're trying to use like a Viole with low investment, it's not going to work. You need the Revolution. The Revolution makes him very, very strong. So this is mostly for people who have the opportunity to pretty much max him out or even have access to his Revolution tier 4. If you have the opportunity to do so, go for it, because he is very, very strong. And Red Element, they don't really have a lot of DPS characters. They only have Evankel, Viole, and Jin Sung, and that's pretty much it. So take the opportunity to max out this unit because he is very, very strong now. So I'm actually happy that Viole is back in the meta. Now for Flight Uric Mazino, his Revolution is very, very interesting. So let's go ahead and take a look. So when we come over here to Revolution tier 4, this is pretty much the buff. Let's read what his Revolution was before. So it said, when Mazino uses a Shinto barrier, swiftness decrease effect is changed to swiftness steal. Now it says when Mazno uses Shinto Barrier, the swiftness decrease effect is changed to be a swiftness steal instead. Additionally, Mazno's attack and defense increase by 80% for 10 seconds each time a Shinto Barrier is broken, max 5 stacks. Now, I'm gonna try to do math in my head real quick. I'm pretty sure that is 450% attack and defense increase in total. I think it's 400%, not 45. 400% attack and defense increase in total, which is ridiculous. Now, the crazy thing about this Revolution Tier 4 buff is that this is pretty much a Trauma Ray counter, because you guys know that Trauma Ray, he pretty much removes shields consistently because of Kraken. I think it's Kraken or Cobalt. The Toad, the frog, is constantly removing shields from the enemy. And Yurik Mazno, he's like, Trauma Ray is like his greatest weakness. But for this tier 4, the fact that Trauma Ray is consistently getting rid of that Shinto barrier, Light Yurik Mazno is now able to receive that 400% attack and defense increase, which is crazy. This can pretty much make him do a lot of damage. So I will say for Evolution Tier 4, this makes him a pretty crazy damage dealer because of that huge attack and defense increase. And this can only happen if the Shinto barrier is broken. If it's not broken, he's not going to receive the attack and defense increase. So you want to make sure that if you're using Flight Yurik Mazno, want to use him against enemies who are constantly breaking down barriers, Trauma Ray, for example, in PvP, you can use Flight Yurik Mazno so that he can counter Trauma Ray. But of course, this is just me assuming. I haven't seen the gameplay yet. I'm going to show you guys the gameplay, but this is just me assuming Flight Yurik Mazno's overall performance with this Revolution Tier 4. So for Tier 5, so before it said Mazno is enhanced, and when hit by a status effect attack and defense increased by an additional 15% for 10 seconds, max 5 stacks. Now it says the Mazno skill is enhanced to increase attack and defense by an additional 20% and increase special move Pierce by additional 20% per stack for 10 seconds each time Mazno is hit by a status effect. Max 5 stacks. So now he's pretty much receiving a 100% special move Pierce increase and a 100% attack and defense increase. That is crazy. So special move Pierce increase, like, it's pretty obvious that he's going to deal some pretty crazy damage with his ultimate, and this can only happen if he gets hit by a status effect. So you want him to get hit by a status effect so that he'll be able to pretty much receive these buffs. So overall, his Revolution Tier 4 and 5 sounds really, really powerful, and all that's left is his gameplay. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some clips. Once again, shout out to Sabletooth. He's the one who pretty much sent me these clips. Shout out to him. Make sure you guys go check out his channel and go ahead and check out the clips. So after looking at those clips, what I can conclude is number one, there are things that you have to consider when you're using Flight Eric Mazino with the Revolution buffs. Number one, you want to use him against characters who can destroy his barrier consistently. For example, Trauma Ray. If he's not going up against an opponent who's not going to destroy the Shinto barrier, he's not going to be able to get that attack and defense increase. He's not going to be able to max it out because the max is 400%. So it's going to be very hard for him to receive that huge attack increase. So, you know, I will say for the Revolution Tier 4, the buff is great. Like the attack and defense increase is great, but it's situational. It doesn't work all the time because the barrier has to be broken in order for him to build up those stacks. And then for the Revolution Tier 5, he has to receive status effects in order for him to build the stacks for the special move Pierce and additional attack and defense increase. So like for his Revolution, like the Tier 4 and 5, there's like, it's like situational. In order for him to pretty much activate, you know, the Tier 4 and 5 buff, things have to happen. Barrier has to be broken. He has to receive status effects so that he'll be able to benefit from this buff. So overall, I feel like, you know, his performance with this buff, really, really good. Like it's obviously a really nice buff for him. Does it make him, you know, extremely broken? I don't know, but it's definitely going to move him up in the tier list for sure, because he used to be like really, really mid. Like he used to be a very mid unit, but I do feel like this Revolution tier, like the Revolution Tier 4 and 5 buff, definitely makes him a relevant unit now. So if you're thinking about using Flight Eric Mazino and Blue Element team, I feel like he's going to be a lot more useful now thanks to the Tier 4 and 5 buff. But should you, you know, get out your way to invest in him, like you have 0 copies on Flight Eric Mazino and you should fully invest in his Revolution? I don't think so, because number one, you know, you have units like VIOLE, you have other DPS characters that are more important for you to focus on. So I will say for Flight Eric Mazino, he shouldn't be your main priority. But if you have him maxed out, I do feel like he is, you know, a pretty nice unit to use with Blue Element because of the Tier 4 buff. Like he's pretty much how can I say this? He's pretty much a sub tank DPS character. Very tanky, but also deals really great passive damage. So overall, I'm impressed with this buff. Really, really good for him. Compared to VIOLE, I feel like VIOLE's is the best buff out of like Gusting and Flight Eric Mazino. But this was a very nice, solid buff for Eric Mazino. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. What you think about Flight Eric Mazino's buff overall. But the next character is going to be Gusting. Now for Gusting, so for his Revolution Tier 4, before he received the buff, it said, before each time a patrol dies, the remaining cooldown of patrol a W0 decreases by 50%. Now it says, upon summoning a patrol, its inherited stat ratio is increased to 100%. Each time a patrol dies, the remaining skill cooldown of patrol AW0 decreases by 50%. So they pretty much added a lot more things into the Revolution Tier 4, which is pretty good overall. So I will say the Revolution Tier 4, it's not extremely crazy, but, you know, just a nice addition. Now for the Revolution Tier 5, so before it said, Gusting would pretty much increase the defense of allies whose HP recovered with Mercy by 50% for 10 seconds. And now it says increases the attack and defense of allies whose HP recovered with mercy by 50% for 10 seconds, max 2 stacks. So they pretty much added attack increase to the Revolution tier 5. So he's increasing allies attack by 100%, which is honestly pretty good overall. And the fact that it says allies whose HP are recovered with mercy. So mercy is pretty much his ultimate, and his ultimate is a huge AoE heal. So he's able to not only cleanse allies, but also able to buff them with his ultimate because of the Revolution tier 5. So overall, Gusting's Revolution buff isn't broken. I feel like his is, pretty balanced. I feel like his Revolution buff is like, it gave him a boost. It gave him a little boost to make him a lot more useful besides, cleansing, healing, summoning bots to distract the enemy, and also providing some attack boosts. But the fact that he's able to provide 100% additional attack to all allies, pretty good overall. So if you're using units like Kun Mashni, BV, Kaseya, any purple element DPS unit, this can be very, very good. And of course, we're going to have White, who's coming in the future. And if he is a purple element unit, this can benefit White and increase his defense and attack, which is going to make him, very, very powerful. So overall, Gusting's Revolution tier 4 and 5, it benefits everybody. Like, it pretty much benefits everybody because he is a support character. So I definitely see his tier 5 as a win, and his tier 4 is just a nice addition. But like I said, his Revolution isn't extremely broken. It's not broken at all. It's just a balanced buff, and that's pretty much it. So out of all the characters, we have VIOLE, Flight Yorick Mazno, and Gusting. Number one buff that was the best was Viole's. Viole's buff was the best. His buff was insane. Flight Yorick Mazno, I'm going to say his is second because, 400% attack and defense increase is no joke. And the fact that he's able to receive an additional attack and defense increase from his tier 5 is crazy. So I think he's getting like 500% attack increase in total. If I can actually check. Yeah, he's pretty much receiving 500% attack increase in total for tier 4 and 5, which is ridiculous. So I will say Flight Yorick Mazno was the second best, and then Gusting was the third best. So those are pretty much the Revolution tier buffs. And yeah, I keep saying VIOLE, he's back. He's back in the meta. He is a very powerful unit, and I'm excited. I'm really happy the fact that, he's a very strong character once again. Even before the buff, when you used him without Belda, he was still pretty strong. But now the fact that he has that, tier 4 and 5 buff makes him insanely powerful. So if you are wondering if you should invest in him, go for it. Very powerful unit. Definitely a good, he's definitely a huge benefit for red element overall, because when we come over here to trial area, remember we do have the attempt increase. Like, they pretty much increased the attempt count to like 20. So, using VIOLE and red element trial won't help you out a lot. So that's pretty much it. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't. I really appreciate it. And tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below about these buffs. And I'll be catching you guys on the next one. Peace.